Der Klassiker, also known as the German Classico, is the German Bundesliga's monumental clash involving two of the country's biggest clubs, Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund. When these two teams collide, the rest of Germany stands still and watches on. BVB and Bayern Munich are two of the most successful teams in German football history. Until 2020, both teams have won 22 out of the 26 league titles. This pretty much tells you how dominant these two have been over the last 3 decades. These two teams have always vied for domestic supremacy, with the Bavarians having the better of their Gelsenkirchen rivals in recent times. However, unlike the Spanish Clasico that has deep political roots, going way back to the Second World War era, the nature of this particular rivalry has always been called into question, since there is little historic rivalry between the two sides. In fact, German football has a long history of other prominent football derbies. For instance, the Revier derby between Dortmund and Schalke is one of the most bitter rivalries in the Bundesliga, and only recently Dortmund got the bragging rights following a 3-0 win over the Blues. Bayern Munich, on the other hand, have a bitter rivalry of their own with FC Nürnberg. Now, today we're talking about the Klassiker because Munich will host Borussia Dortmund at the Allianz Arena in a game that has a lot riding for both sides. But hey, you know us. We absolutely love talking about the history and trying to keep giving you a unique insight. So before we talk about the big game, let's take a quick look at this game's history. The first game between Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich happened way back in October 1965 in a game that Dortmund won 2-0. A year later, they also won the 1965-66 European Cup Winners' Cup against Liverpool and thus became the first German club to win a European title. A year later, Bayern Munich won the same competition, and this is where the era of the Bavarians' dominance began. 1971 would be the year where Bayern Munich would draw first blood, beating Borussia Dortmund 11-1, which to this day remains the club's biggest Bundesliga victory. The rivalry between these two sides reached a crescendo during the 1990s when Dortmund won 2 Bundesliga titles in a row and posed question marks over the credentials of perennial title favourites Bayern. In 1997, during yet another tense encounter between the two sides, Bayern legend Lothar Matthäus accused Andreas Möller of being a crybaby. The Dortmund striker reacted by slapping his Germany teammate. However, BVB would have the last laugh after they lifted the Champions League trophy the same year at Bayern's home ground, the Olympiastadion. But even that wasn't the end of hostilities. The two teams met in the quarter-finals of the next edition of the UEFA Champions League, and it was once again Dortmund who would get the better of the Bavarians over the course of the two-legged affair. The 1998-99 Bundesliga meeting between the two teams would take the rivalry to another new level, with Oliver Kahn becoming one of the most infamous characters in Der Klassiker history. During a league clash between the two sides, the legendary German custodian first attempted a flying kick at Chapuisat, and later appeared to have taken a bite at Heiko Herrlich's ear. The rivalry between these two sides simmered down. Borussia Dortmund were precariously close to going bankrupt in 2004 as their debt grew, but a €2 million loan from Bayern helped keep the club afloat. But that gesture was only going to act as a monetary truce between the two bitter rivals. The arrival of Jurgen Klopp once again changed the German football landscape, before Bayern would rise once again and, as things stand, are still the strongest side in the country. And in the backdrop of all this, the upcoming game between these two foes promises to be another mouth-watering spectacle. On Saturday, Bayern Munich travel to Gelsenkirchen to take on their bitter rivals Borussia Dortmund at the Signal Iduna Park once again. The game is going to be quite the clash of the titans, with both teams showing great form in the run-up to this matchup. As things stand, Lucien Favre's men are second in the league standings, with 5 wins from 6 games, level on points with Bayern Munich, who are on top of the standings due to a far superior goal difference. Hansi Flick's men are once again the team to beat. After conquering Europe without dropping a single point last season, Bayern will be eager to further assert their dominance in German football. But you can expect the home team to head into this encounter with a lot of confidence after their 3-0 win over Club Brugge in the Champions League. Dortmund started the game well and showed great character to bounce back from that 3-1 defeat at the hands of Lazio in their first Champions League group game of the season. The performances of the likes of Thorgan Hazard and Erling Haaland are going to give the team more confidence as they look to beat a team that's been making an absolute mockery of the Bundesliga in the last few seasons. But if Dortmund are thinking that they're going to match the league leaders blow by blow, it might not turn out that way. The Bavarians are on a roll once again, scoring goals for fun, and in their most recent Champions League outing, thrashed RB Salzburg 6-2 away from home. Controversy for Bayern. Ahead of the game, there's already been a lot of things said about the contractual situation of star defender David Alaba. The Austrian has been at the club for almost 10 years, but is looking likely to head towards free agency by the end of this campaign. With no renewal in sight and Bayern Munich having withdrawn their offer, the player has launched a scathing attack on how he was disrespected by the club's senior management. Munich sporting director Hasan Salihamidzic admitted that Alaba refused the offer made to him. However, despite all that, the Bayern players are behind the Austrian, who arrived in Munich in 2008. According to Jerome Boateng, all the players are behind the experienced defender, who might not be able to play Der Klassiker next year. Niklas Süle out. Due to the same issue that's forced fans to watch the games from their homes, Bayern Munich will now be without the services of Niklas Süle. The German international is set to begin a period of isolation, and after already missing the win over Salzburg, will now sit out the Klassiker. However, is that really going to impact things at the back? We don't think so. Bayern Munich have a pretty solid defensive lineup, so they might not have a lot of problems. However, the game against Dortmund could be very different, since Favre has a really great offensive lineup at his disposal. Jadon Sancho. The English international has already established himself as one of the finest players in Germany, and after staying put at Borussia Dortmund this summer, is getting back to his usual self. He hasn't necessarily set the stage on fire this season, but is still playing well. His injection of pace and ability to take on defenders before making a killer pass makes him one of the most lethal forwards in the game today, so Jerome Boateng and co will have a task on their hands. With Alphonso Davies still nursing an ankle injury, Sancho might be looking to exploit Bayern's left flank throughout the encounter. Erling Haaland. The young Norwegian has started the current season similarly to the last one, scoring goals with ease. He's scored 5 goals and provided 2 assists in 5 league outings and has 4 goals in the Champions League from 3 games. Despite his young age, Haaland is playing with a lot of maturity and confidence and is definitely going to be a handful for the Bayern Munich defence. With Torgan Hazard also coming to life, Haaland will have a lot of support from his creative teammates in this game, and who's to say he wouldn't make history in the Klassiker this time around. Robert Lewandowski. The Poland international's playing like a man possessed. At the age of 32, he's still performing consistently and has already scored 10 goals and provided 3 assists in just 5 Bundesliga games. Clearly, the Pole is eager to hit the 40-goal mark this season. With Thomas Müller also in great form after scoring 4 and providing 4 in 6 games, you can expect Lewa to get all the right support. Leroy Sané and Serge Gnabry are 2 other players who are really going to make life miserable for the Dortmund defence all day long. So, who's going to win this game? Well, if you ask us, this game's going to be very difficult to call. Both teams have a lot of firepower and have been easily scoring goals. Bayern Munich in particular are like a relentless machine, swatting away all competition put in front of them. However, throughout the last season, we've seen that there could be a way to nullify Bayern Munich. Their high defensive line works wonders when in attack, but if they're playing against a team that has quick players up front, they might concede goals. And with the likes of Sancho and Haaland in the squad, you can expect Bayern Munich to go for a more risk-averse strategy. Dortmund, on the other hand, will be looking to hit their opponents on the break, and with the pace they have on either flank, will definitely take the game to the visitors. Will that work out? Well, if your opponent's Bayern Munich, you can never be too sure these days. In the last 7 years, there have been instances where a team has threatened Bayern's monopoly of the Bundesliga. Mostly, that team has always been Borussia Dortmund. However, for one reason or another, no team has been able to displace the Bavarians. While Dortmund's displays do suggest that they might be the team to add a bit more balance to the title race, we're not sure if they're ready enough for that. A win over Bayern Munich might not be a surprising event on Saturday, but it's unlikely that a defeat would mean anything adverse for Munich's credentials as the perennial title favourites.